ahead and just show the clip and show you guys what Stephen M's talking about. That way you guys can get an insight on what he's talking about, and then Brinsky will start off with you afterwards. So let's go ahead and show the clip. So give us about a minute here.
I had one of my favorite quotes of the entire draft process. You said, quote, "I make guys not love football anymore." What does it feel like to see the love of football leave someone's eyes?
It feels great, like football is a child's game. So like people wake up, be like, man, I can't wait to play this football game today. They listen to their hype music, they take all the pre-workout, they get so excited to play football until they come across Tyler Booker. And then when I'm going after you, quarter after quarter, play after play, series after series, and I start to see that love leave their eyes, like that's what makes me love the game. Like I just really love.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, you just got me right. Hey, he got me ready to go. I ain't gonna lie. He got me ready to go.
Bro, I'm going to play right now.
Yeah, God. Let's go. Yeah, he got me hyped. I ain't gonna lie.
All right.
Play after play, quarter after quarter.
Hey, man. Welcome to the team. Yeah. He had me ready to go there.
Yes, sir.
All right, Brinsky, give me your take, bro.
Yo, y'all weren't gonna get me on the mute early. Y'all weren't gonna get me on the mute. But yeah, man, what else need to be said, man? That's what Jared needed to replace I forgot his name just that quick. Zach Martin on the offensive line, man. So you go from Zach Martin to Tyler Booker, and you get a guy that can handle that middle like that at that guard position, man. Oh, they're gonna love him in Dallas, especially if they can find a running back that can actually run the ball. They're gonna make some noise down in the NFC East, even though it's a tough division. But Tyler Booker, man, is just that. I felt like that was the perfect place for him to go because I feel like the Cowboys do a great job with the offensive line. I felt like they wasted a lot of years on the offensive line that they had with Tyler Smith and those boys and Zach Martin over the years with poor play. But Tyler's going to bring a different type of leadership that the Cowboys need because he wants them to live up to the standard, especially playing with so-called America's team. He's going to want those boys to step up and play to that standard. So the Cowboys got them a top prospect for real.
Tez, let's hear it.
Yeah, man. Consistent with the Cowboys as of recent. They I think like two of the last 3 years, they got in the offensive lineman in the first round with their first pick. I think Stephen A pointed out this morning I was watching like all of them named Tyler too, which is crazy. But yeah, man, you can't go wrong with a guy like that. What's funny about that clip is Michael Parsons was kind of upset when they first announced the pick. He wanted to go receiver. Yep. And it was like at that moment he realized he had a football player on his team. So like it was like the most natural reaction ever. But yeah, I love the pick for the Cowboys. Like everything Brinsky said, retooling that offensive line. Great pick in my opinion.
Coach Carl, let's hear it. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know where they can find you at, and let's get your take, brother.
Hey, man, how y'all doing, man? It's Coach Carl for On the Block Sports Talk, man. You can find me on YouTube at On the Block Sports Talk with Coach Carl. You can find me on Twitter at Coach KD Taylor. My take about Tyler Booker is I think Dallas probably, with the offensive lineman in the draft, I think Dallas might have won the draft on the offensive line because you got a young kid that's basically was undervalued. And a lot of people talking about it was a reach for them to draft him in number 12 in the draft because, they say he wasn't physical enough, but we all know he's a very physical kid. And I think that, man, with the guys that's on Dallas offense line for the last few years, like Tez and Brinsky alluded to, they were just getting a little too old. They wasn't that feisty anymore. They had made enough money. They were just trying to preserve those bodies for their careers, man, not want to leave football injured or whatnot. And I think that now you're getting a young guy that's hungry. They're coming from disappointed, from a disappointment college career that he should have won a national title, but he didn't. And I think that now you get a guy that's driven to be successful on the interior, who's nasty and love being nasty. And that's the thing that a lot of NFL guards, even the tackles and so forth, really don't have that intensity anymore. So I think he's just a big overgrown kid, man, that's out here just loving to play football. And he's still playing football like he's a kid. He still had a love for the game, and it's not about the money. Yeah, nowadays with most of the kids, it's about that dollar. And I think with Tyler, man, it's just all about the love for football. And like he said in the interview, man, he just want to make people quit. And as long as you keep going at him, by the end of the third quarter, a lot of those, even though NFL guys, they get tired out, man. They really do want to quit. And then they look on the other side of the ball and you see this happy, energetic, damn rookie coming at you consistently. Some of them going to bag down, but it still had those ones out there going to make them want to shut them up. It's going to want to hurt them real bad. But Dallas Cowboys getting a dog, man. And I'm really happy for him. I think, like Steven said, Jerry finally did something that wasn't catastrophic to his team. So kudos to Jerry Jones, man. I think he hit a home run with this.
No doubt. So I'm going to speak from the NFL analyst, right? So they're saying a guard shouldn't go 12. That was the gripe. The overreach was a tackle, yes. A guard, no. I say to hell with that. If you need a guard to replace Zach Martin, why would you not go get the best guard in the draft? It just doesn't make sense. It seems like every year we have to learn our lesson. And look, the Jets have learned this year over year. Miami did it a couple of years ago. If you don't go and get the guy you want, you're just going to let this dude possibly slip to a divisional rival. You know what I mean? Something like that. And the fact is if he comes in, replaces Zach Martin, he looks like he should be a Pro Bowler. But I love this fit so much for the reason that he can go in and be himself, and he doesn't need to lead the offensive line right away. Right. There's guys with experience. It's not like they're going to look at him and go take over the offensive line. No, he can just do himself, learn the system, you know what I mean? And kind of go about things that way. That's why I love this pick so much. So with that being said, let's get to some of these comments before we move on here. So Kalen the Boss says, is Bama going after anyone else? I'm assuming you're talking about the portal here. We're going to get to that actually at the end of the show here. Antoine Brinsky, what's up? So Ken, if you on here, man, what's going on, bro? Roll damn tide to everybody who says the same. Oh, everybody on here but one person, Tez, which, I mean, gotta give Tez credit. He's an Auburn fan on here, so brother got some thick skin. Christian Hughes, roll tide. College football chatter, what's going on, man? Roll tide. Who else we got in here? Brian Russell, as usual, way to step out how we can get you another SEC monster. Man, it just keeps on coming. Kennedy, are the NFL's personality gripes when it comes to drafting players a good idea or not? That's going to be something we talk here about in a minute. Yeah, they should have kept Zeke. Look, I don't have enough time to even talk about that, to be honest with you. That's for a whole nother show. Old Jerry need to go ahead and retire. I don't know if you mean that's a bad pick or a good pick. I personally think it's a good one. You know, sir, can't complain, bro. Everything good and blessed. So, all right, moving on here, guys, to the next one. And we're talking about, in my opinion, possibly the steal of the damn draft when it comes to the first round. But for this, we'll do reverse order, and we'll end on you, Stephen A., and let Coach Carl start off with this one.
Man, there's nothing. Shit, it ain't much you can say about this, man. Jahad Campbell in the Eagles defense, man, Lord have mercy. You talking about the steal. How did all those NFC East teams allow this guy to pass through to the Eagles, who just won the Super Bowl? Like, you giving the rich people more damn money. It's like you sitting out there getting Bill Gates Amazon. Like, you just handed Bill Gates Amazon. It don't make sense, man. Like, I mean, Jahad Campbell is a freak. He's a beast, and he's still growing. That's the best part about it. Dude haven't even reached his potential yet. He's still growing as a young man. He's still growing as a linebacker, and he's still a freak. Only do it 1.5 years starting, so he still has a long room to go. Now you're pairing him with the guy from last 3 years. The guy linebacker came out.
Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith.
Yeah, Nolan Smith.
You put him and Nolan Smith side by side, two fast, athletic linebackers, man, that can plug the middle, and both of them can play deep in coverage at the same time. I don't know, man. Philly is You might as well go ahead and chalk the NFC up again, man, because they made one more draft and pull out a safety somewhere, man. You might as well chalk it up NFC. You're not gonna beat Philly. I mean, that's absurd to me. I just don't understand how that happened. I would have drafted him just so Philly didn't get him, knowing that Philly needed a linebacker. Period.
Yeah, exactly what you just said, Coach Carl. That's what I thought Washington was going to do. I thought that for sure he was going to Washington. But nah, man, for him to fall to Philly, it's just like, why? Like, how? How is that even an option? It's like when Randy Moss went to the Patriots. It's like that was an option. How did this happen? Like, are you not paying attention? And then like that division, you know, you got Jaden Daniels in that division, so you got to pressure him. We know what happens when you pressure quarterbacks for the Cowboys. Who else is in that division? It's a very, you know.
Well, now you got Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart's there now. We'll talk about that, but it may be a little bit of Daniel Jones first. I don't know if they drafted him to play him, but you know, like you said, the rich kid. What can you say about it? Like it's just me being a 49ers fan. I don't like it at all. But yeah, you're getting the kid, like y'all said, edge rusher, can play Swiss Army knife on defense. You can move him around anywhere and add that to a championship defense already. God, it's just scary.
Brinsky.
Well, you already know how I feel about it, man. I said it was the steal of the draft. Highway robbery, man. It just doesn't make any sense. How can the rich get rich? Like, I just can't stand it, man. And I'm a Washington Commanders fan. And we sat right there. We had a chance to get him. And shout out to Justin. Me and him was going at it. He thought his Ravens were going to pick him up, and I thought my Commanders were going to pick him up. They get Malachi Stars. We get Josh Conley. But both of us got great picks. I had to settle for actually go look at film and check experts' opinions on that, and then I was like, okay, I feel better about it. But it took some time, but it's a home run pick by the Philadelphia Eagles, man, especially with what's my boy name? He just got injured. That used to play at Georgia.
Yeah, Nolan Smith, right?
Not Nolan Smith. I'm talking about playing linebacker, middle
linebacker, right? I know who you're talking about, but his name's slipped.
But somebody in chat, y'all know who I'm talking about. And shout out to Miss Janet, because I thought about her because this is her team, and she kept saying she would have loved for him to fall to Philly. And you see, there's power in the tongue, man. And look what God handed. They just handed you a gift. Christmas came early. He is going to ball out with the Philadelphia Eagles. So it ain't no more to be said, man.
Nakobe Dean.
Nakobe Dean. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, man. I don't know how I was drawing a blank on that. With Nakobe Dean being hurt, then you got Zach Braun right there. And now you add this. Like, come on, man.
Look, y'all, I'm just going to tell you, we all know what happened. We all know Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie were in a room together, and they said, bruh, what we going to do? What we going to do? We going to unload the clip. We got all these banana chambers and these gorillas. We're just going to unload the whole clip. We in our Super Bowl window right now. Let's go get another gorilla. And they got one in Jihad Campbell. They got a versatile gorilla. The guy can play the mic. He can call the signals. The guy can play the off-ball wheels, sideline to sideline quickness, can play in coverage, can shut down the run, and then you can move him to the buck position. He can get after your quarterback and knock his dome off. So this is exactly what Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie wanted, another gorilla bullet chamber. They got another one in Jihad Campbell to open that Super Bowl window even more. So it's unfair. It's highly unfair because I wanted Jihad Campbell to go to the Buccaneers. I wanted that man to go to Tampa Bay. But
And y'all
no,
moving.
but no, Howie had to open the checkbook one more time. Let's get this one. They got it.
Can we just do this real quick? Can we give a prayer to the rest of the SEC, because the whole defense and offense is Alabama and Georgia, by the way, at this point.
Yeah,
it is.
It's almost insane at this point. They're just like, okay, who's the best one left between Georgia and Alabama? We'll go defense and just get that guy, and let's just get even better where we need to get better at. I mean, it does seem to be unfair. And look, I don't think Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City would have been crying much either if he would have went to Kansas City. But either way, the fact that he landed at the Eagles, where once again he won't be, in my opinion, pressured to play a ton of snaps, has a chance to get healthy and do his thing in Philly the way he wants to do it. I think that's just as important as everything else. Once again, you're young, bring him in, let him develop and do his thing. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this. We'll do an overall first round, right? NFL draft winners and losers, whether it's a team or a player or whatever it is. And I guess we'll start off with you this time, Stephen M. Smith, on give me a team, player, whatever it may be, winner and loser.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at the team. The winner for me, I'm gonna go with the team. I thought the Cleveland Browns won. I thought, like, for the first time in a while, Cleveland is setting up to not be the place where you go to die anymore. That's becoming the Jets. And for Cleveland, it took, let's get the right GM in here that knows football. Let's get the right scouting department in here that can put the proper eyes on these kids and scout correctly and not misevaluate. Because we all know when you have the wrong GM and when you have the wrong scouting department, misevaluations happen frequently. So for the first time, Cleveland has started to think consciously about, let's not be the doormat of the AFC anymore. let's actually put some work into this. So big ups to Cleveland. Big ups to them. I thought they were the winner of the first round of the draft. The loser of the first round, and this is not because of him, the player, it's because of all the negative pub, is Shedeur Sanders. This is what happens. When people talk, people love to talk you out of the first round. This happened a few years ago, guys. Remember Christian Barmore of Alabama? Christian Barmore was supposed to be a first rounder. 2020, the guy had 8 sacks, double-digit tackles for loss. The guy was just a freak in the middle of Bama's defensive line, and draft pundits talked him down to the second round. Now, of course, he got his big payday for the New England Patriots, but this is the same thing with Shedeur Sanders. I get it. The guy's got a big mouth. What you expect? He's Deion Prime's son. Well, but what you expect? But the guy backs it up with his play on the field. And whoever picks this guy up tonight, he's going to come in there, forget a chip. He's going to have a full boulder on his shoulder ready to prove the whole nation wrong that you let the guy slip out of the first round. So I go winner, Cleveland Browns, loser because of the media talking. That's Shedeur Sanders.
All right, Brinsky. Oh, I guess not Brinsky. Tez, I guess we'll go ahead and jump onto you.
So I'm gonna go winner. I really like the draft that the Atlanta Falcons had, actually.
Theirs was sneaky good too.
Yeah, with getting Jalen Walker and James Pierce along that defensive line in the first round, 2 first round absolute studs off the edge. You cannot go wrong with pass rushers in the NFL. No matter how many of them you have, you can always get more. You get 2 studs from the SEC. I really like their draft. Like I said, it's a sneaky good one. It's not one that a lot of people are talking about. And I'm gonna say the loser of the draft. I don't want to go with Shedeur in the first round. So I'm gonna say the New Orleans Saints.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say the New Orleans Saints. and it's not based on their first round pick. I don't actually have an issue with their first round pick. I have an issue with the second round.
There it is. I was waiting on it. Yeah.
If the second round pick was better, the first round pick makes a ton of sense. Do you get a first round tackle and then you come back and get Shedeur Sanders in the second round? That would go down as an amazing draft for you guys. Now they get what's his name?
Tyler
yeah.
Stuck.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend like I just watched this guy. I've seen some Louisville games. Apparently, he has all the measures. A big kid. Now, I don't think he's got the size. I don't know how these careers are going to turn out. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it just seems like the obvious pick. I thought that they were setting up to say, hey, Shedeur Sanders took a lot of sacks in college. Greg Cosell just came out with a very interesting report that said quarterbacks that take a lot of sacks in college take a lot of sacks in the NFL, which is, interesting when we think about what we say about offensive lines when quarterbacks take a lot of sacks. But you're getting a quarterback who took a lot of sacks in college. If you compare him with a first-round tackle, you've won. You've won, in my opinion. So that's why I said that they're losing. Not necessarily for the pick in the first round, but to follow it up with that in the second round just didn't make any sense to me.
Coach Carl?
Yeah, to piggyback on what you just said, Tiz, it's not the fact that they didn't get the right quarterback. They got a quarterback that was improving. Every time Tyler lined up against somebody with a stronger defense or just a good defense in general, he stunk up the jump. So and that's one I didn't understand. So I was with you on that one, man. New Orleans is my biggest loser because you had an opportunity to get a kid that come from a junior college just like Travis Hunter, just like Cam Ward, that battle from not junior college, but from small football, from the SWAC. Then he transferred to the big leagues. The first year he put up astronomical numbers over there in the pack, and then he come to the Big 12 and he does the same thing with less talent, with terrible offensive line. So, I mean, I don't take a Louisville quarterback that struggle against Florida State every single time they play Florida State. They struggle against the Clemsons of the world in the ACC. Anytime you play against a tough defense in the ACC, he stunk up the joint. Even in a bowl game as a starting quarterback, the dude had a horrible bowl game. You don't talk about taking sacks. He took more sacks against Florida State than Shedeur probably took the whole season. And that's just like one game. Couldn't complete a pass. All the passes were short. He rushed his throws. They were too long. You ain't had wide open wide receiver that he was missing. So, nah, man. Anything with the NFL and the way the NFL runs today with different types of pressure, you got $100 million men coming off the edge that don't want to do nothing but tear the head off a quarterback and the chance he get, and especially with rookies quarterbacks. No, I think Saint dropped the ball on that one. So for that reason, not only, man, Saint stunk up the joint. And I'm with y'all, man, with Atlanta, man. After I did a little research, I was kind of heartbroken when Atlanta took Pierce. When they traded back up in the first round, took Pierce, all kind of heartbroken because at that point, I was looking like, oh yeah, we done it. We just cut Philly head off, and we was gonna go get Jahad Cameron because we needed another inside linebacker that was a thumper that can call plays. And then they got Pierce, and I was kind of heartbroken over that one. Even though I think Pierce was a little bit of a reach, we probably could have traded back in the second round and picked him up. I really wanted Jahad Cameron at that, but Atlanta won the draft with the two edge rushers, but we got to figure out what we're gonna do today, tomorrow, and so forth on to find out what we're gonna have inside linebacker wise and safety, because a lot of times we can't get enough safety because Atlanta can't cover a lot. So we need more fast, speedy safeties, and we do need another play caller in that middle. So I think Atlanta did good so far. We just want to see what happens more. And the fact that I'm an Atlanta Falcon fan, I really need to see more.
There you go. So before we move on here, so obviously we got Coach I on here. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody where they can find you at. Then we'll jump over to you, Brinsky. Give Coach I time to adjust, and we'll get his take on his NFL draft winner and loser, team or player.
What's going on, people? Good people. What's going on? Hey,
Coach
listen.
What's happening?
Hey, man. It's Coach I, Fanatic Sports, man. You can find me on Twitter, IG, and YouTube at Fanatic Sports, talking all SEC football and basketball.
Brinsky, let's go ahead and get your winner, loser, all that good stuff. I know you in a storm, so if he cuts out, it's because he's in a storm right now.
Oh yeah, man. It just knocked me out. I'm just made it back in. But I have actually two winners. Of course, one obvious is Philly picking up Jahad Campbell where they picked him up. And the most they had to trade up was one spot because I believe they was afraid of Kansas City getting them or whatnot, or however that worked. So that's pretty obvious. And my other one was one that I literally talked about the night before because some of my subscribers that are Ravens fans didn't like the player, which is Malachi Starks, which I thought they was crazy. And I was like, if he goes to the Ravens, it's pretty much no fly zone with him and Kyle Hamilton back there. Then you have Wiggins, and then you have Marlon Humphrey. Like, that is a secondary that you will love, and Malachi Starks will ball out in that system. And they'll learn soon, but I've just called that one. But my loser, I would say it's not even because I say the Saints are the losers only because they're just stupid. they're just straight up stupid. I just couldn't even hold it back. Kevin Banks is an awesome pickup by them. That ain't the reason why I'm mad at them. It's their second round pick when they had a chance to go get a quarterback.
Every time, bro.
And they go get the boy out of
Shro, yeah.
Tyler Shaw.
Tyler Shough, man.
Yeah, you go there when I felt like you can. If you were gonna get him, you could have waited way later to get him, but you had a chance to get Shedeur. So I thought that was very stupid on their part. So I just don't see him as a starter in the NFL. But God bless him.
All right, Coach, let's hear it.
I haven't got to see a lot of the second round because I was out on a business meeting, but so far what I think is loser first, I'm gonna say Tampa Bay because while I do like Emeka Egbuka, if I keep up with NFL, not as much as college, but what I heard was they just paid Chris Godwin at wide receiver. You got Mike Evans at wide receiver. Your defense was bottom 3 in the NFL, and your first pick is a wide receiver. When you got Nicky Mawari on the board. At that time, they still had Malachi Starks on the board. They needed a linebacker. Jahad Campbell was on the board. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, bro, you don't need more wide receivers. You need somebody to stop somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was dumb. I also thought the Jazz got a great pick, of course, getting Travis Hunter. The problem is they gave away the farm.
Yep.
So I think they were kind of like in the middle. I ain't gonna say they're a loser, but again, I'll be trying to trade back to get more picks. I'm not giving away all my future picks for one player. I don't care who that player is, because one player in football can't change you like one player in basketball can. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that's kind of middling. I thought winner of the draft so far, first round, beginning of second. I'm gonna say, because I'm down here in the South, I'm gonna say Atlanta, because Atlanta ain't never took what they needed. They always try to get best available. They finally actually addressed the actual issue. They went and got some defense. You know what I'm saying? It's like last year you pay old buddy to be the quarterback, then you draft the quarterback at number 4. Like, that doesn't make sense. You draft Pitts at number 4. Like, what we doing? He ain't winning no Super Bowl for nobody. They finally addressed the defense. And then I like what Brinsky said about the guy Eagles getting Jahad Campbell. I think me and Jonathan was talking last night. I was like, the Eagles ain't nothing but Alabama and Georgia with Saquon. So I think they did pretty good. I like what they did. I think the Browns did good. I think, like my man was right. The Browns, they moving in the right direction. Let's just say that. I ain't gonna say they all the way up and up, but they moving in the right direction. So I'm interested to see what the Eagles do in their secondary. I think they lost Chauncey Gardner-Smith, so you know they took Jahad Campbell. They could have took a linebacker or a safety in that position. So
no
Y'all,
doubt. So
if y'all could just tell my frustration about my Buccaneers right now. Like we could have done. Y'all could just tell my frustration up there.
right, like Emeka Buka is an amazing wide receiver,
Hey,
but
I
you
mean,
got
he
good
is,
wide
he
receivers.
is, but my
didn't
God, we
really-
the linebacker.
How
I
you
didn't really think
how
about
you
that
a
pick like
Buccaneers
that.
fan though, Steven, from Alabama? Like that's a little stretch, right? Like how you come from Alabama to go to Florida?
Look, man, when John Gruden got down there, Tony Dungy got down there, they converted me.
I can see Tony Dungy, but once Dungy was out, I would have left myself. And that's a long way to be a Bama fan. Like you got to go through past all that stinking the Gator Yip just to get to the damn
Man,
Buccaneers,
look,
right?
man,
Like,
look,
come on, man.
look, man, leave me alone.
So I'm going to go and change it up a little bit with my winner. My winner of this, in my opinion, especially with who they just drafted in the second round so far. And I don't think they've missed on a draft pick, it feels like, since Dan Campbell has gotten there. And I'm talking about the Detroit Lions. Right? Hutchinson gets injured. You know what I mean? The sacks fall off. The defensive line falls off just a tad bit. So what do? They go get Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State, who is a dog when it comes to interior pass rush. My God. So it solves an immediate solution to any injury history that's possibly going to be popping up for this upcoming season. And then what do? You go and get, in my opinion, one of the best guards, if not equally to Tyler Booker, if he can come back completely healthy, in Tate Ratledge. We saw what he can do at Georgia. Right? He was, in my opinion, one of the staples on that line, clearly. We watched the Alabama versus Georgia game. We saw what happened when he was not in there. He was injured and didn't play in that game. I mean, Dan Campbell, it seems to be hitting every mark. And by the way, their line is not a weak point. They have one of the best lines, in my opinion, in the NFL, and it just continues to get better. And Tate Ratledge now gets a chance to go into this, knowing he's probably not going to need to start, obviously. He can heal up, he can get better, and he can develop. And by the time this man can come around, they don't have to pay a guard tackle money, plug in Tate Ratledge, right? Saving that salary cap for everybody else. The loser I'm going to mention, it's obvious to pick some of them, but I'm going to go with Will Johnson. Just the person himself, rated as the second best cornerback, right? So him slipping all the way in the second round, I believe he ends up going to Arizona. I believe they picked him up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Out of Michigan, the dude's talent, we're talking like top 5 or top 10, like in the first round. And the dude falls completely out of the first round. Look, if Arizona picked him up, it was them. Hell of a steal for them, in my opinion, as long as he can keep it together. But as far as just a loser for a person themselves, it sucks to see him drop out of the first round like that, knowing the type of talent he is. So anything else you guys want to speak on as far as the draft goes, winner, losers, all that good stuff?
I got a question about Will Johnson. Like, for y'all that follow NFL more, why I was shocked that he didn't get picked in the first round, like top 15. Like, why do y'all think he fell so far? Like, bad interview? I mean, bad workout? I mean, I don't know.
That could be it. I mean, because Will Johnson's a highly talented corner.
Right.
Highly talented, pass breakup interception guy. For a lot of these executives, they take those team interviews very seriously, and they want you to really wow them in your conversation. Now, Will Johnson, he's great at the whiteboard. He can draw it up, sketch it up, put it together at the whiteboard, which that's tremendous. When you sit down and you have that one-on-one interview, they want within the first 10 to 15 seconds of you talking, sell me on you. And for a lot of kids, they can do it. They are master salesmen. But for some kids who are like, I'm not the talker, I'm going to show you on this field, that doesn't resonate with a lot of those GMs and owners. So that's probably one of the reasons why he fell. I'm not saying that's the number one reason, but if he's not the type that I'm going to walk in here and talk you into drafting me, but I'm rather just going to show you why you need to draft me, that's probably one of the reasons.
The reason why he
Injury.
failed is because they said it was like cartilage in the knees. And they don't think,
Ooh.
so they don't think he's gonna play long
Ah.
or something
Yeah.
like that. That's what
Well,
so many people was worried about. That's all it
Okay.
was.
I got you. That's their job,
So-
though, to do that deep dive on your health and
Yeah.
all that. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Okay.
But
I just know I was
Yeah.
like Jonathan, like, dude, definitely a top
yeah.
10 talent.
Yeah,
a
he,
lot
did-
of that,
he
a
had
lot of
turf
times
toe
it just
as well.
With his
A lot of
injury
times it
concern,
just-
they don't want to waste their money, man. I mean, you'll waste a second round draft pick because the money is not that much. So they'll give him that little $4 or $5 million or whatnot. And then if he don't pan out, they'll cut him. So it's not really a big risk. With those first round draft pick, their contracts are guaranteed now. So
I got you.
Yeah,
But
a
going
lot
back
of
to
times
Jonathan's
it
part,
only take but just one report though, like one bad report.
Right.
It's not like it has to come from multiple teams. It's just like once a team sees that where you should have went, you
Right.
didn't go there, and you have an injury history, like that's just enough for them to think like, hey, they probably evaluated him. We didn't.
Right.
So if they didn't pick him, I'm not going to pick him. That probably happens a lot.
Yeah,
I
I
get
think
it.
he's gonna be all right, man. It's just one of those things. I think he's gonna have a long career.
Steven,
Okay.
what you got? Nope, you the first one tonight. Hit that mute
Here
button.
we go. They got me. They got me. Going back to Jonathan on Tate Ratledge. Tate had the tightrope surgery. So
Right.
he's gonna be back. He's gonna be back sooner rather than later. And then he's in a situation where he doesn't have to come in and just immediately play. He can, like Jonathan was mentioning, learn the system, be developed. But because they got to his ankle quickly at Georgia, early on in the season, he was able to have that tightrope and heal. So I'm really happy that he's going to be able to play.
All right, so
That'd
some
be
shout
good.
out, so shout out before we move on here, Janet. Obviously, appreciate you getting on here. I haven't had a chance to shout you out yet. Yep, Eagles fan, obviously. So going down here, Del B, Roll Tide, man. Appreciate you getting on here. Bag man, I haven't seen you in a while. Oh man, we're gonna get into that. So here in a little bit, but I wouldn't say that. Me personally, that's just me. But either way, all right. And them swamps, yeah, that was pretty good though. Yeah, you gotta go to a long ways to get to Tampa Bay. That's where my brother's living actually right now in Plant City, right outside of Tampa.
Man.
My brother lives in Tampa too. So
We
that's
them all over there.
right.
Shout out to Stacy.
All right. So moving on here, we're going to jump into some Alabama stuff real quick. We're talking about tight end transfer portal commits, right? So obviously Alabama picking up 2 tight ends. Stephen Ems obviously does the deep dive here, knowing and having all the analyst power and all that good stuff. So Stephen M, I'm going to let you lead it off, and then we'll circle around to you, Brinsky, and down.
I know a lot of people are kind of questioning what is Brian Ellis, Alabama tight ends coach, what is he doing? Brian Ellis, who was a former quarterback at UAB from 2007 to 2011. But so what Brian Ellis and King and the board did here, they kind of did the whole Walmart 2-for-1 deal where the tight end position is concerned because you lose C.J. Dupree and Robbie Ouz to the NFL draft. We saw throughout the spring that Danny Lewis was banged up. He didn't really do much all spring. You only have one H-move tight end, which is Josh Cuevas. You know what he's going to provide for you. Everybody else, you're kind of hoping, right? Because Jay Lindsey, he's talented, he's young, but you don't know what he's going to become. You signed 2 talented freshmen, Marshall Pritchard and Caleb Edwards, but you don't quite know which one of those 2 is going to pop. So tight end is a position where you need depth, you need bodies, you need something there. So you bring in Jack Samarco from West Virginia, and you immediately see the stats, 1 catch for 4 yards. You're thinking, dude, is this dude terrible? No, you brought him over as a blocking tight end. He will be an extension of your offensive line. He's a C-gap, hand in the dirt, blocking tight end. That's what he'll be with 3 years of eligibility left. Does that mean he will not develop into being a receiving option? He could. I'm not saying he can't. But based on the evaluations, he's brought in as a depth piece, an extension to help them on the offensive line. Brody Dalton, the transfer from Troy, he will be the receiving tight end. I mean, here's a guy that last year, 15 catches, 3 of those for touchdowns. He's more of a guy that you will have him run routes out there, catch the football, make some moves, get up and down the field. That'll be more so of your receiving guy. So to me, it was more of a 2-for-1 deal.
All right, Brinsky, your take on getting 2 tight ends in the portal?
For that reason, Steven was talking about right there, man, because Danny Lewis being hurt and all banged up all spring. So I thought it was weird, but I can understand the reason. I trust the process, man. Even though I question some stuff.
Brett, and bro, I know it's weird because you look at Bama Nation, right? You saw what you had in OJ Howard. You want another one of them. We saw what you had in Irv Smith. You want another one of those. As much as people like to throw shade at Miller Forrestall, Miller could play too. Miller was good also. And so you're like, when can Bama get another one of those? I would have loved to have seen Jaleel Billingsley hang around and actually pan out, but Jaleel wanted to do his own thing. I would have loved to have seen Caleb Odom hang around and pan out. Caleb wanted to do his own thing, and I hate that. So that's why we're put in this situation. I would have loved to have seen, what's his name, Ty Lockwood, because he had a lot of talent hanging around, but Lockwood wanted to go. So this is why that position, you need depth, but you need production also. And that's what DeBoer was thinking. Okay, Samarco, I know he don't have great numbers right now. That's fine. We'll bring him in, make him a blocker type. Here comes Brody Dalton. Okay, you actually have some production. We can make you a receiving tight end in the event that, that's needed. Because right now, the only guy that I'm going to get some from this cat right here is Josh Cuevas. That's the only one. So you needed bodies. You needed depth at that position.
All right. Next
Yeah,
on
Steven, and with that being said, Steven, man, I was thinking the same way you're thinking right now. With tight ends, right?
Yeah.
You can have 5 tight ends on your roster and have 2 proven tight ends. You may have 3 that can block and 2 that can catch. So what you're bringing in is just extra bodies, just in case one is not productive in the blocking game, you have another one to throw in. And if you find one with the axe in the mix that you can keep playing them, and they can get into the passing game, other than Josh Cuevas, now you have a dominant combo of tight ends. And the more tight ends you have, the better you are anyway, because someone had to set the edge. Once you run back, bounce on the outside with all these pin and pull type of offenses that people running now, you got to have somebody to set the edge at tight end. So it's never enough tight ends anyway. So the bigger, the better, the more, the better. You just got to have tight ends that physical, smart, and want to play. So you keep bringing them in, and then if they don't fit the program or whatnot, you can always cut them or send them packing. You know what I mean? But you just bring them in, you try them out. If they work for the program, if they don't, in the fall, you get rid of them, man. But you never have enough tight ends, man. That's what the NFL doing nowadays. Anyway, they bringing them in, they trying them out. If you don't fit, they cut you. So I think college football now, especially Alabama, they're going to the NFL mode. If you come in and then you can hold your own inside Alabama, we'll keep you. If not, we're going to cut you. So I just think they're just trying to get them in and to see how it fits. Yeah. Especially with Danny Hoops being hurt, like y'all said, we still need service or bodies. So we had a lot of tight ends go down last year. Only one that had production was Josh Cuevas.
And so, and just to wrap this up, like in a perfect world, I'm pretty sure DeBoer in a perfect world, he wants to see one of these 2 freshmen, whether it's Edwards or Pritchett, one of these 2 pop. Because if one of these 2 pop, then you're like, oh, snap. Like, we got some here. Yep. So that's in a perfect world. But in a non-perfect world, if the 2 freshmen have to develop and at least one of these 2 transfers pop, then you're still okay. So it's just insurance on your part. Insurance on your end.
All right, Ted, I know you don't follow. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I got a question. Is there, because I don't know, is there outrage over this? Is this like
it's starting to be today?
For real?
Yes, today they're starting to be, and it's not towards the players, it's towards the coaching staff, actually. So
it's toward the coaching staff, Tez, because of the fact that people, when we all saw OJ Howard come through the program, it's like, whoa, that's OJ Howard. We haven't seen anything like that before. Can we get more of that? And then when Irv Smith came through, Irv was a bit shorter than OJ, but Irv was still massively productive. And Bama fans was like, okay, this is dope right here. After those two, it's like, okay, there seems to be a drop at that position. Not necessarily a drop, but Bama wasn't necessarily using the tight end position like it needs to.
I got you.
So
Right.
now, yeah, they weren't really using it.
That's why I'm like, Tez was like, why is it an uproar? Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, like from the outside looking in, I'm gonna be honest, OJ was that dude, but y'all didn't even use OJ like he should have been.
Not
used, to be
because
Now
honest.
that's on Lane Kiffin. That is on Lane Kiffin.
So I'm
That's on
like,
Kiffin.
Yeah,
Coach Carl was right. You bringing them in to set the edge and be blockers. So at the end of the day, how good they supposed to be in the pass game for Alabama offense, it hasn't mattered. They focus on wide receivers anyway. So it's like that'd be like if these two dudes had came to Georgia, I can see Georgia fans being because we literally depend on tight ends. Y'all don't depend on them like that. So I don't get what the uproar is about. They look like serviceable bodies. You know what I'm saying?
Look, man, hey, I'm gonna leave you with the quote from the great former 76ers coach Larry Brown. People are only happy when they're not happy.
That's just so
That's a
kidding,
great
dog.
and the fact
I'm gonna
that
tell you,
they thinking that we should have went in there, they think that we should have went in the portal and brought in some more defensive players, and then Caleb DeBoer brought
But
in two
y'all
tight
didn't.
ends.
I mean, correct me if I'm
I'ma tell
wrong.
you-
Y'all didn't lose a whole bunch of defensive
They
players to
lose-
the draft and stuff, right? Y'all
No.
returned a lot of
No,
people,
no.
right?
We
Yes.
just lost Jahai Campbell.
That's
Right.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
But
So
we-
like,
but we
what y'all
signed-
going
but
to
we-
give?
but we
Trying to get
signed
people to
Hill.
back them up.
I mean, we signed Hill, we brought in a transfer in Green. So I mean, we lose, but we
Right.
gain at the same time. But with our fan base, man, our fan base is
People
privileged.
are only happy when they're
Hey.
not happy.
I'm gonna tell you, just
Oh, my
like for
God.
me, I like from the op standpoint, I want y'all to fail. so I'm looking at this like they're in the spring portal for two tight ends. They didn't lose anybody in the spring portal. They are very confident in that roster that they have. over there.
Right.
What are y'all complaining about?
Right.
Like, is there outrage
we
over
needed
that?
a tight end, bro, and the fans are going crazy because we needed a tight end.
My question is,
Y'all signed
This
it. Y'all
guy's
signed
not complaining.
Lewis.
I just want
Lewis
them
gonna
to
be a
start.
monster. Yeah, Lewis may be a monster 2 years down the
I'll be
line.
like, oh well.
yeah,
I guess
here's
that-
the facts right here. If Isaiah Horton gains 25 pounds, he's a tight end.
Ah,
Fact-
four and a half.
That's facts. That's
Bruh,
facts. That's
for
facts.
real.
Derek, listen, I was at practice, right? And they was running Derek Meadows at tight end. Now
Oh,
just imagine
Whoa.
Derek Meadows playing tight end. Bro, it was
Bro, for real.
scary stupid. Like
Yeah.
scary stupid.
Yeah.
We're going to see how creative Ryan Grubb and the Nick Sheridan offense is coming back. So we're about to see really the creative side of that, because when we go to Athens, to Georgia, there's going to be some stuff up their sleeve, I'm sure, and it's going to expose a lot.
I would say, and I guess this is the new regime, so it might be different. Maybe they use the tight end more. It's just that Bama hasn't leaned on the tight end like that, so I don't think it should be that much of an uproar. And like Ted said, spring portal, you get depth pieces. You don't get starters and nothing like that. Like because y'all got some hurt people. If they wasn't hurt, y'all probably wouldn't even pick these dudes up in the portal. The winter portal is when you try to find a couple of starters or something like that. So
I think they would have still brought in tight end from
Think so?
Alabama because he's from Alabama. I think
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
still brought him. I just it's the last one we brought in was the people who were ready to uproar about. They all wanted.
they all in the uproar. This dude might not even play.
Yeah,
The West
they all
Virginia
wanted the
kid.
hometown kid.
Yeah.
See, it's the hometown kid that they was excited about, but that foreigner they didn't want.
Yeah, the West Virginia, the West Virginia kid brought the pitchforks and torches out.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
It's the couch burning situation they got going on there in West
Oh.
Virginia, I guess. But
Man, crazy,
Oh,
dog.
no, man.
no, so I guess to wrap this up, because I didn't want to do it too long of a live stream to keep you guys up tonight. Well, here's the facts, and then I also want to get Tez any closing remarks on Auburn's transfer portal, and same thing with you, Coach I, after we do just our overall portal closeout here. But here's a very important fact that was already brought up. Bama loses 0 scholarship players in the portal, right? So, in my opinion, you have to contribute this to Ryan Grubb coming in, changing the culture on the offensive side, because all I've heard through the spring and everything is that he's bringing an extreme amount of Nick Saban-ness energy. In other words, attacking everybody, making them work hard. And a couple of guys have even mentioned that he brought his old school mentality out when he was an offensive line coach, because he was back in the day. He worked the offensive line. So I think you could be seeing a slight culture shift from last season and a one-season mode, I guess, from last season into this season, and that may be part of it. I don't know, but give me your take just on your overall portal closeout of Alabama, whoever you got. Stephen M., we'll start off with you and go around.
I mean, I was really excited about this because of the fact that it just shows DeBoer is setting his culture, his staff is setting the culture, and the fact that you lose no scholarship guys, like everybody says, you know what, I'm going to remain 10 toes down on this roster. That's roster retention now is a big deal. Because of the transfer portal, because you're not just recruiting freshmen anymore. You're recruiting freshmen. You're trying to keep scholarships for transfer kids. And then you have to re-recruit your guys to stay on your roster every single year. And the job that, first off, Kane Womack did, getting Deontay Austin to stay, getting Justin Jefferson to stay, getting, Tim Keenan, LT Overton, so many guys to stay, that was major. And then to have Kalen DeBoer on the flip side to look at the quarterback room, nobody leaves there. Nobody leaves the running back room. You got 10 receivers on your roster. Nobody leaves that room. You got about 30 offensive linemen. Nobody leaves that room. So a job done as far as roster retention. And I think the underlying reason was a lot of the receivers were kind of frustrated last year because they didn't get the targets that they thought they would get. And Jalen Milroe, outstanding dude, outstanding guy. But because of the fact that the receivers felt like, okay, we're not getting the targets, we're not getting a chance to be explosive. That's why you saw the Kendrick Laws, the Kobe Prentice, the Caleb Odoms, they all transferred. With Milroe now in the draft, and we're hoping to hear his name called soon here, these receivers are like, we finna get our chance to pop. And that's why none of those guys hit that spring portal.
All right, Brinsky.
Just for the simple fact that we didn't lose anybody is still shocking to me. I am really, really surprised by that. A lot of these guys are locked in, but you can tell that this what happened when you start to bring in more players that buy into your system. So I'm loving the direction that we're going in. So only time will tell. We just need to get the results on the field and everything good.
Just real quick, and the Eagles go and get Andrew Mukba. One of the,
Andrew Makuba?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's going to fill that Chauncey Gardner-Smith
Yep,
spot.
exactly.
That's a good pick. I like Makuba.
So, Tez, moving on to you.
Let me give you Auburn transfer portal news.
Yeah, give me any transfer portal news you just want to talk about. It doesn't have to be Auburn. It can be Auburn. Anything you just want to highlight.
Well, I give you Auburn transfer portal news. We lost 7. I think 7 had 7 outgoing. A lot of depth pieces, just directly related to the recruiting class we brought in from high school. So a lot of secondary players. Brought in about 5 players on the defense in the spring portal, which is interesting. It seems like Hugh Freeze is dedicated to giving DJ Durkin whatever he wants when it comes to recruiting. If you look at the high school recruiting class just passed, and then what we did in the portal, like he is really committed to putting players on the defensive side of the ball. So that's interesting. Interested in Caleb Whitehead from Maryland. It's a guy who probably a little bit familiar with what DJ Durkin wants to do. Linebacker room is young. Some of those guys are in the draft right now. So, yeah, to get somebody come in there with some experience should pay dividends. So I'm pretty excited, man. I just can't wait to get this whole thing started. Actually, one thing I did want to say, I forgot about this. Jay Hardy. I don't know if Brinsky remembers this. We talked about this when the portal about the portal news before. We were wondering when it was going to be a player to transfer from a school to another school and then back to the original school. Jay Hardy has done that. Transfer from Auburn to Liberty, and now we just got him back in the spring portal. So I wonder how often that's gonna happen, man. Just with the transfer portal rules and it being the Wild Wild West and NIL, school may not be offering you so much your first tenure there, but after you go somewhere and prove yourself, they may have a bag for you. So I don't know. That's something you may see a little bit more often.
Coach Carl?
Hey man, I was going to pick on Ted for a minute, man, because I was just waiting on Cam Coleman to jump in the portal because I just knew he was going to bounce, and I was waiting on him to bounce. But he stayed, man. It kind of hurt my feeling. But yeah, man, what Alabama doing right now, man, it's amazing that no one jumped into that transfer portal on scholarship. I know all the walk-ons jumped into the transfer portal because of the offense there and defense they're running right now. I don't think they would probably ever got a chance to play. So, I can understand that portal, though, non-scholarship players jumping into the portal. But the fact that we retained all our scholarship players, like Steven said, with that 10-man line, that 10-man offensive line, 30-man offensive line, the 10-man wide receiver room, I knew from the time I set foot at spring and I watched the wide receiver going at each other. Then once they got on the field, started playing against the defense, they rotated 10-man deep. Like they literally had 10 men deep on the starting offense, and they just rotated those wide receivers out, put them in all different positions, coming out all different angles, running all different routes, man. It was like dynamic. And our defense, as talented as it is, really couldn't stop that offense. So I was like, man, Alabama running 10 deep at a wide receiver. And every last one of them is fast, or every last one of them, all the ones that they had three running third down sets. We had 3 third down wide receivers, that 3 red zone wide receiver, and then between the hashes and between goal line to goal line, we had 7 game breakers. Like you really couldn't do nothing with them. Game breakers, take the top off of defense. You had perfect defense ran, but they outrun with speed and the ball place will outrun coverages. So I was watching them like, man, if Ryan Grove was in his bag like this in the regular season, nobody's stopping his offense because the wide receiver was just that dynamic. And the offensive line seemed like they was holding their own except for Wickham Ford, but he got overpowered by Quay Russo. But Quay Russo is squatting with about 500 pounds. So I can understand by him being overpowered by Quay Russo. Other than that, man, I think Alabama's in a very, very good perspective. And I like where we're going now.
And coach, that might be the only spot that you're looking at is at right tackle between Formby and the transfer from Ball State and Guam. That's going to be a competition into fall camp and probably through fall camp because the staff wants Formby to pop, but you bring over this NFL body and Guam already. That's going to be a fight that's going to go through camp.
The big old
Wickham Forsby is a monster now. I mean, he can hold his own. He can
hold his own.
Down low, he's a little too small. He's big up top, big, husky, strong dude up top, but he has an athletic body down low. So his legs, his thighs are not big enough. His legs not big enough. So once he get back on his back feet and he's trying to set his back feet and get on his back feet to hold those rush edges from coming on the edge, he held up against just about everybody that went up against him except Quay Russo. And Quay Russo being that freak nature himself, he couldn't handle him. Keon Keelan beat him a few times with power and speed, but Quay Russo just dominated him every single time. And if Quay Russo play like that, it's gonna be hard to damn pass the ball on Alabama. Period.
And then Quay dropped 10 pounds too. So Quay different.
Yeah, he's small, and oh Lord, that dude is a monster. Like I'm telling you, he picked William Formby up by his shoulder pads, like off the ground. And when he bull rushed him, he stood his feet up off the ground and he tossed him on his ass. And I was like, what? He got up, he was just rolling in the grass, man. When he got up, he looked surprised, like, this dude's strong.
All right, Coach, what you got with any Georgia portal news? You already know I like the Noah Thomas. You already know I like Zachariah Branch, all those cats. So anything from you?
Well, we weren't as fortunate as Bama. We in the spring portal, we lost 5 scholarship players, but the only one that I thought was gonna get significant playing time was Nitro Tuggle, but he had got suspended indefinitely, so I knew he was going in the portal for speeding. So once you get suspended indefinitely, Kirby just say that so it don't ruin your rep. That really mean you off the team, but I knew he was gonna hit the portal. We lost Branson Robinson. I don't know if y'all pay attention to Fanatic Sports. I've never high on Branson Robinson, to be honest with you. That's just me. Plus, he couldn't stay healthy. So I'm high on Roderick Robinson, who's still there, but not Branson Robinson. So, but I think the spring portal, our biggest pickup actually was Josh McCray, the running back from Illinois, because last year we had Trevor Etienne and Nate Frazier, both like lightning backs. Nobody that can fall for it on 3rd and 2. You know what I'm saying? 3rd and 3, carry a couple of guys through the hole. Now they can make you miss and they hit you as hard as they can, but they just ain't bringing enough in the in the back seat. You know what I'm saying? So Josh McCray is one of those guys we could put in on short downs and carry some people through the hole. So I thought that was a major need for us. So but other than that, man, like you say, Noah Thomas, I mean, the first portal I thought was our biggest winner time when we got Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch. That was huge. So I think everybody, like I told you last night, everybody sees Zachariah Branch and they go on about him, but Noah Thomas to me, that's the one, dog. That's the one. I think he's gonna be a game changer for us.
Hold on,
All right.
Coach. Did you see that comment?
Yeah, DUI. Oh, yeah.
DUI.
Well, it was a DUI and he was speeding. That's what I'm saying. He was DUI and he was speeding. That's how he
Dang, DUIU. She called y'all DUIU.
Oh,
Yeah,
now it's not DUIU. It's actually they get the tickets for reckless driving. There's
DUI University.
I know, that's what I'm saying. She's actually wrong in saying that it's actually speeding ticket
Speeding, yeah,
university.
Speeding and drinking university. That's what they do. They speed a lot and drink a lot.
Yeah, so
either way. All right, guys. Well,
I don't know a university that don't drink.
Yeah, but they drink. Georgia do too much drinking and driving.
They're in college.
Mm.
Sorry,
I'm
Coach
not going to
Al.
give no excuse.
I'm sorry, Coach Al.
hey, ain't no big deal, dog. Hey, these dudes they get caught. And look, the thing is, like Brissy said, everybody do it. We just, I can spin the show on how it is with the Athens PD, but because I know from my time there, so they shouldn't do it though.
Yeah.
You gotta learn. You gotta learn your environment. That's what I'll say.
That's true. Especially when you know it's
Very
happening.
true.
So if
Right.
you know it's happening, you know that
Like
the
if you-
cops are looking for that.
Right.
Why
If y'all
do it?
come to my city here, I'll say, hey man, when you go through this part of town, don't speed. So after years and years, you should know don't do that because they're looking for it. So I put that on the players. So
My take is on this very simple. I think Alabama had a great chance in the portal, right? So we took advantage when you take advantage of. Honestly, ours was the first one. I think Isaiah Horton possibly is going to be one of our biggest pickups. It's going to be
I
kind of
like it.
overlooked. Yeah, really like him. Really like the pickups in general. Now, just a real quick one last question to everybody. Just make it a short one so everybody can get off here. Did Nico shoot himself in the foot going to UCLA? Was it right, wrong? What's your take real quick? Stephen M, starting off with you. We got 60 seconds. Let's hit it.
Wrong. Messed himself up.
There you go. Brinsky.
Stupid move. Lost a lot of money.
All right, Tez.
Stupid to leave Tennessee. Don't think he had a choice but to sign with whoever wanted him.
Coach Carl.
Yeah, man, I say he stepped on a Quaymore mine. So
All right, Coach I.
bad move. I don't think it was Nico. I think it was the people around him.
In my quick take, I 100% agree with Coach I. And not only that, I think UCLA was willing to bring back his brother. And
Right.
for that reason alone, I think UCLA was the suitor the whole time to be, well before that news was even dropped. So I think it was more about money or less about money and more about who can bring us both in to make sure we both get paid, as Arkansas is currently suing his brother, by the way, for getting $200,000 back that they paid him because he never snapped the ball for him.
Get that
So-
money.
Yeah, exactly. So
Make UCLA bad.
hey,
Hey,
that's
hey,
not a
you want
bad
us,
idea.
right?
Maybe
But
I want
us.
somebody.
hey,
I want people
but
to keep
still, at
this
the
in
end of the
mind.
day, John, it was still about the money, though, right?
It's always about the money.
Oh yeah.
Always. But
So
I don't think it was Nico though. I think it was his. I'm gonna
Your
say.
fault. I mean,
I'm gonna say it's people.
yeah, we'll go. Yeah, that's the safe
Yeah.
way. Yeah, no, I got you on that one. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody getting on in here. Janet, everybody in the comment section. Obviously, the whole panel getting on here. I'm going to let everybody tell where they can find you at, all that good stuff. So, starting up top with you, Stephen M. Smith, and we'll go around.
They can find me, Coach and M. Smith, right there. They can find me right here on the Bama Standard Network. Hey, appreciate you guys having me tonight.
Brinsky, turn off that mute.
Yeah, I was just about to almost call myself. But yeah, man, y'all catch me on Twitter at B_sharp with Twitter/X at B_sharp and YouTube and TikTok at the Sharpshooters Podcast. It's right there in the chat. Go on over there, subscribe. Almost at 800 subscribers.
There we go. Just right there, folks. Tez, let's hear it.
Yeah, Tez, you can find me on Twitter at codename Tez, or you can find my YouTube channel at It's SC Season. We also have a Twitter page too. Yeah.
There we go. Coach Carl.
yeah, man. Twitter at Coach KD Taylor. Like I said, it's at the bottom of the screen, scrolling across, or you can log on to YouTube and On the Block Sport Talk with Coach Carl. I appreciate you inviting me, John. It's good to be back on
Thanks.
with my brothers, Coach I, Stephen M. Smith, man. I salute you, man. You're one of the pioneers in the game, bro. So appreciate the opportunity to be on the screen with you, man. And
Don't
good
make
luck
me
in
start crying here,
and-
man. Talk all this pioneer stuff, man. I'm just
and-
floating through
and
the air.
and get good luck in the coaching thing, man. But nah, man, you one of the ones that I used to watch all the time, Stephen M. So that's what's up, man. On the Bama Standard, man. I used to watch you all the time, man. I like where you get excited when you got the best thing about it was like when they give you that little donation and you get excited, how excited you get about the little donation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Throw that money in the bag, man. You know what I'm saying?
I used to love watching that, bro. Like for real.
Yeah.
All right, Coach I.
Hey, y'all can find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, IG, all of them at Fanatic Sports, man. Talking SEC football and SEC women's basketball mostly, but I get a little men's in there every now and then. So appreciate y'all having me on tonight, man.
Always. So with that being said, appreciate everybody one last time. Obviously, where you can find all of them, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is, all that will be in the description below after this live stream ends, just to make it quick and easy. Please go support all these channels. Guys, it's free. It doesn't cost a dime. Helps us all out, right? And you get to hear more about, well, sports and college football from other than ESPN talking heads. So with that being said, everybody have a good night. And as always,
F them trees.
Go Dogs.